Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, we're gonna be testing another mini PC. This one is the Blackview MP100. It has a Ryzen 7 5700U processor with 8 cores and 16 threads, and AMD Radeon Vega 8 integrated graphics. And we're gonna be taking a look at 18 popular titles in it today. Now, that Ryzen 7 5700U inside of the MP100 runs at 25 to 30 watts of power, so in the upper range of what it's capable of, and that's pretty great because that means higher performance compared to something like a laptop with a 15-watt 5700U. It's also really good looking in my opinion. It has some RGB on top for extra FPS, of course. Unfortunately, well, the RGB is not working anymore. For some reason, I've been using it for the past week. It's been fine, but today while I was installing Forza Horizon 5, it just shut off. And it has plenty of ports as well. On the front, you can find a couple of USB Type-C ports, a USB 3.2 Type-A port, a headphone jack, and the power button. And on the back, we find a LAN port, 1 gigabit, no 2.5 gigabit in this one, but considering the price, which I will get to in a moment, it's very acceptable. Then we have another USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A port, a USB 2.0 below it, a DisplayPort port that's capable of 4K 144Hz, and an HDMI 2.0 port that's capable of 4K 60Hz. Finally, all the way on the right, you have the DC power jack. So for a basic little system like this, I think the port selection is quite decent. Now, speaking of pricing, supposedly this is selling on AliExpress for $246. Yep, that's what it says in the image, and that's what they told me it would cost, but in the actual pricing below the image, it says 350 euros. And that's for the 16 gigabyte plus 512 gigabyte SSD version. I don't know. All I know is prices are always fluctuating in AliExpress, so maybe it will drop in price soon. And also, if you're interested in buying it, I'll leave a link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment with some coupon codes to shave off a few dollars off of your order. Now, the version that they sent me for review is the 16 gigabyte plus 1 terabyte version, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it comes with single channel RAM. Now, this is completely fine for browsing the web, office tasks, and so on, 4K movie watching. But in gaming, you need dual channel RAM, especially on integrated graphics. So I installed another 16 gigabyte stick to make it 32 gigabytes in dual channel. This way, we get way better gaming performance. And it was quite an easy task to do as well. And for a bit of a comparison with other CPUs, I wanted to throw in this CPU Z section in the video as well with a benchmark. So comparing it to something like Ryzen 7 3700X, for example, single-core performance is very similar to that one, although the 3700X's multi-core performance is quite a bit higher. And let's check out the 2700X, for example, that still has higher multi-core performance. So to achieve the same multi-core, roughly, we gotta go down to the Ryzen 7 1700X. But remember, in single-core performance, this is way faster than first-gen Ryzen, but you're matching the high-end first-gen Ryzen basically on the multi-core performance. But that translates into a really snappy Windows experience once again, and even if you want to do some video editing and photo editing, it's gonna work just fine on this thing. Comparing it to the i7 8700K, for example, you got similar single-core performance, although a little bit lower, and higher multi-core performance, for example. So this is high-end desktop from 2018-ish levels of performance. And lastly, comparing it to the Ultra 7 155H, that CPU kind of wrecked the little 5700U, but of course this is a much newer Intel CPU with 16 cores, 22 threads, higher TDP as well, so it's a different tier of performance and pricing at the same time. Finally, if you're interested, I ran Cinebench 2024 on it. These were the results right here. I got the temperatures on the right as well for you to check it out. Under heavy loads, it doesn't heat up too too much. It goes up to like the 80-degree range, which is completely fine for these chips. And it's whisper quiet as well. I was really impressed with the fan noise coming out of this thing. It's not high-pitched at all. It's super quiet. You can barely notice it's there if you're watching like a movie or something like that. It's very nice. And finally, with all of that out of the way, let's play some games on the 5700U and Vega 8 integrated graphics. Shall we? And first up, we got Counter-Strike 2, the most popular game on Steam. We're playing at 720p resolution using the low settings without FSR. Alright guys, this one is just starting. I started counting the FPS as well. I'm playing Deathmatch first, and we're also going to test some smoke effects in a casual match after this one is done. But first, I'm gonna try to win this. Come on, pick me. Okay, no, he's not gonna pick me. All right, there we go. Come on. There he is. Oh, you bastard, dude. Now, the experience itself, guys, is all right. You know, it's 720p, so it's a little bit pixelated for my taste, but a lot of people enjoy playing this particular title at these lower resolutions, like 1024 by 768, for example, is very popular, and that will get pretty much the same FPS as this. And also, if you take a look at GPU utilization, it seems to be CPU bound, right? Because it's not maxing out, so there's a bottleneck somewhere else in the system. I think it's RAM bandwidth limited, basically. It's the same thing happens in Dota 2, and a lot of you guys have been telling me that it's RAM bandwidth limited, or VRAM bandwidth limited, which is basically the same thing, since this uses RAM as VRAM, of course. Oh boy, come on. No. Got a little bit stressed out there, but we're in first place, which is nice. Okay. All right, let's go. Guys, I don't think we're gonna win this because these guys are so damn good. What the hell is happening? It was going very well at the beginning, but now I'm just dying and dying and dying. I can't really do anything. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Goodbye, sir. Is that one dead? Yes, he is. All right, there he is. Oh, Master, who killed him? All right, we got him. We got him. First place again. It's still possible. Freaking Glock. Come on, there we go. Glock kill is real. All right, that's... no! We died with a knife. We gotta get our revenge, guys. We gotta get our revenge. Where is the bastard? Where is he? I hear him. No! Somebody else killed him. Still, if I get one with a knife, I have redeemed myself. There we go. That was quite fast, actually. I didn't expect that to work. Oh boy, okay. Oh, it's over. There we go, guys. So 45 FPS, 1% lows. I don't think it dropped that far. It dropped to like 62 minimum from what I saw. It was just because it's not completely stable of a frame time graph there. But overall, the experience is good. All right, it's the smoke test now, guys. It's already dropping a bit from 60 FPS, as you can see, and looking at the smoke, shooting at it, it only drops down into like the high 40s, I guess. It's not the end of the world. Let's throw the AG grenade at the same time. That usually drops it further, but, well, not today for some reason. And the Molotov, fire effects, yeah, pretty much the same thing. So you can rest assured that at least it will be 50 plus FPS like 99% of the time, with a few drops here and there, which is still playable, just not for a super competitive experience. Okay, so this one is going to be pretty terrible, I think. It's Cyberpunk 2077 version 2.12, and it's much more intensive than the last time that I tested Vega 8 in the channel. So we're at 720p resolution this time, using quality FSR 2.1 and the lowest settings possible. Okay, well, that's not absolutely awful. It's 30-ish FPS. Frame time is, as usual, quite stuttery right there with these integrated graphics from a few years ago, you know? But it is holding 30 plus FPS. Okay, all right. I mean, effectively, it is rendering the game at like 540p or something like that, because it's quality FSR at 720p, which doesn't look very good, right? But it's running Cyberpunk. It's actually not too terrible, even in terms of frame time consistency. Even though we have a lot of little spikes there, it doesn't feel stuttery, guys. It just feels like 30 FPS, which is kind of bad. But if you're used to playing games on integrated graphics, I mean, it's it's basically not terrible. Again, goodbye, Bob. Almost forgot to do that. That was a perfect Bob kill, by the way. One of the best ones here in the channel. Yeah, you know what? I thought it was going to perform a bit worse because Vega 8 is usually close in performance to like a GT 1030 GDDR5, and the GT 1030 DDR5, it can't really play this game very well, honestly. But yeah, I believe when I tested, oh my god, the 1030 last time in Cyberpunk, it wasn't in version 2.0, so now it's more intensive, of course. It couldn't really hold 30 plus FPS like this one is holding right here, but I'm not sure if I would buy the game to play at 720p lowest settings with FSR quality. But hey, you do you, and it's better than I expected, honestly. Next is a beautiful one. Usually it's Rust, guys, and it still looks kind of decent, you know, in terms of lighting especially, even though we are at 720p using the lowest settings. Let me go over it. So 1280 by 720 resolution, potato settings, 100% resolution scale, so at least it's native res. These are set to these values, so it doesn't look completely terrible. These are also not set to the minimum, and these are all turned off as well as these over here. And it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a stuttery experience, but it is a playable one at the very least, right? We're seeing a lot of vegetation, which is usually intensive for the GPU to render. GPU usage isn't maxed out in this one either. Now the thing is, I could actually play Rust like this, and my brother, for example, has played this game at 25 frames per second, and he was still completely fine. Obviously, these days he can play with much higher FPS, but he doesn't care about gaming at all, guys. He could have access to all of this hardware and it doesn't care about gaming, but still, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the outpost area in the map. This is usually a bit more CPU intensive, and wait, let me just switch to my torch right here. 30s, okay, it's starting to drop into the lower 30s. It's very similar to what things just keep popping in. It's very similar to my experience previously with Ryzen 5 3500U actually, and Vega 8 integrated graphics. I mean, the GPU itself is very similar as well, so that's why. But yeah, even here in this area, which is more CPU bound, you can get 30 plus FPS. It just takes a while to load some things, but once they load in, it should be fine. Apex Legends is next, and this one will be the smoothest so far at 720p resolution using the lowest settings. Okay, this is not bad at all. Looking at the entire map getting 50 FPS, that's decent. That means that down there it will probably get like 60 plus. Here we go, start counting our FPS. Did someone drop with us? I don't think so. We're good, we're good. So this area is actually completely broken in this map, the waterfall, and it's only dropping down into the 40s. So this is actually really good, guys. And it reminds me of the performance, roughly, maybe it's a little bit faster actually, than something like the HD 7970M laptop that I have tested in the channel as well. That was a high-end GPU, laptop GPU from 2012, if I'm not mistaken. God damn it, that was quite a fast one. Okay, so we're basically getting high-end laptop performance from 2012 in a 30-watt package at its maximum, okay? Right now it's using 25 watts since it's not maxing out the CPU, you know? But yeah, it's very impressive still. Now, with some smoke effects on screen, we can see it drop into the 60s and 70s sometimes. So yeah, you can expect 60 plus FPS all of the time, and I guess some drops into the 50s, 40s, maybe even 30s when ultimates are in play. Let's go ahead, throw out our ultimate. This is worst case scenario. And with all of the explosions from the ultimate going on, it only drops down into the 50s. That's solid. That's really solid. I see someone. Oh boy. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, okay. This is not my sensitivity, guys. Oh boy, oh, almost got him still, almost got him. Holy crap, that's a big cursor. It's almost the size of Spidey's head. Holy crap, and bigger than the other. So we're playing this one at 720p resolution using no frame generation or upscaler just yet. This supports FSR 3.1, and we're using very low settings. Depth of field is set to high. I'm gonna set it to low, or very low, or off, actually. Yes, let's turn it off. And this is it. It seems like it is playable, although it's super over sharpened. Holy crap, that looks terrible. Okay, that is because the sharpness is set all the way to the maximum. maximum. All right. Without it all the way up to the maximum, it actually looks decent, although super, super shimmery because of no anti-aliasing and 720p resolution here. But hey, at least we're getting playable frame rates, right? And it's a AAA title, so that's good. I mean, 40 FPS is actually a little bit better than what I was expecting. I thought we'd need to use frame generation to achieve these frames. So far, the Vega 8 is actually surprising me a little bit. So the Central Park area usually is where the FPS drop the most in my tests because it's way more GPU intensive. And as you can see, it's still not dropping from 30 FPS. All right. It's not the greatest experience, obviously, but it's still okay, right? Let's try out FSR set to quality here. And it kind of applies like a major anti-aliasing overhaul to the game. You know, it's a little bit softer in visuals, but you could argue that it actually looks better here at 720p resolution because there is no shimmering anymore, right? So it's doing a fine job, although it gets pretty pixelated sometimes, around Spider-Man especially. And also, in terms of FPS, we didn't really gain much there. It's still getting 40s, maybe it's like 5 FPS better, not really that, like 3 FPS better. But the star of the show is usually frame generation. So let's enable that on top of everything else. And now we're getting 70s. Oh, guys, come on. Like, that is absolutely sick. On a small monitor, it's going to look fine. On my big monitor right here, I can see a lot of imperfections in the image, like a lot of noise once again and pixelation around Spider-Man there. But it is so smooth right now compared to what we were seeing. Not only we gained a ton of FPS, right? But also, it smoothed out the frame time graph. It was a little bit jittery before. It still drops down into the 50s, and when it does so, you can start feeling that input lag addition by the frame generation, you know? Doesn't feel all that great, honestly, but it is playable. And if you're playing with a controller, you will be less likely to notice the input lag. And on a smaller monitor, it will still look decent, aside from the jittery that comes with icons and stuff like that, the UI basically. But overall, pretty impressive stuff, guys. Now it's an easier game to run, Dota 2, at 1080p resolution using the medium settings preset with medium textures and 100% resolution scale. A fight is already breaking out, as you can see. Things are not dropping by too much. Frame time graph is not really that smooth though. But I can see some of that micro stutter for sure. But still, I think you can play the game like this as long as it doesn't drop from like 30 FPS. Oh boy, it's getting close. It's getting real close. Oh damn. All right, wait. It's not dropping though. Okay, you could, for example, lock it to 30 FPS for a more consistent experience if you want to. You know, it won't really drop from that. This is pretty much worst case scenario, what we're seeing right now. And when not much is happening and there's no team fights in the screen, you can actually achieve like 60s and 70s at times. Although, still with that weird frame time graph and some micro stuttering to be perceived for sure. But I've seen that this is very normal for pretty much... Oh, come on. Don't push the game. It's very normal for pretty much every iGPU out there. You always seem to be getting some weird frame times here in this game. And I guess it's just because of that bandwidth limitation, you know. A lot of people have told me here in Dota 2, it's bandwidth limited because it's not a CPU bottleneck and it's not a GPU bottleneck. It's just bandwidth bottleneck, basically. Playable experience looks great. It's not amazing though. I would like to have seen better stability especially, but it is what it is. Let's play another popular but older title, GTA 5 at 1080p using the high textures. These are set to the middle right there, but the rest of the settings are set to normal, and those are the low settings basically. And you know what? This car is quite fitting for what we're using today. This is like the Vega 8 in the GTA world. You know, just a normal red car, running things on normal, and playing the game absolutely okay. You know, you don't need more than this, although it's great to have more than this for sure, because this game on normal settings is not really the prettiest thing. It's not the prettiest thing on the maximum settings either, but it does look really nice on max settings. Anyway, at least it doesn't stutter at all. You can enjoy this title absolutely fine, guys, and it's going to be a decent experience with close to 60 FPS. Obviously, if you want even higher frames per second, you could lower the resolution to 720p, for example. I wouldn't. I think it looks sharp here and decent at 1080p resolution, and 720p is maybe a little bit too low, and since we can actually achieve these averages, it's alright. Bushy areas will always drop your FPS in GTA 5, and here we go, it drops down into the 40s at times, but not to a concerning level. It's not even touching 30 FPS. Let's go, Jack! There you are! Hello, buddy! It's a highlight of the video, finally. There we go, Jack. You look kind of overexposed today. Did you use your sunscreen? I don't know. Stay safe, my friend. Stay safe while I try to go kill Bob next and restore the peace in the benchmarking world. Look at that, 60 FPS, even after we've seen those bushes. And over here, 46. Not bad, 47. And goodbye, Bob! There we go. See? Vega 8 can kill Bob, so it is a great GPU for GTA 5 indeed. This is a game that you should definitely play with something like this. No, definitely not. Shut up, please. There we go. Okay, so this is PUBG now, and we're playing it at the 720p resolution using 100% resolution scale, so it's native res and a very low settings preset. And I'm also playing the intense battle royale mode, which I guess has like 20 people maximum in it, and it's basically the last stages of a game, you know? Oh, there's a guy right there. No! You bastard! Yeah, this intense battle royale thing is very intensive. It's probably too intensive for my taste. Well, look in the bright side, guys. We're testing another map. It's more content and more information for you. Oh, yes. This map seems to be a little bit less intensive than the previous one, although we have a lot of people here, again, and a lot of vegetation as well, and they're both on top of that, but 3 of them are on top of that building. Why are you shooting at me? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Oh, I see. This is squads. Oh, that's why he didn't fight the other guy. I feel like some people are inside of here, right? Yeah, or maybe on top of this building? I'm not sure, guys. But I'm scared. That I'm sure of. Oh boy, there's a flashbang. There's a guy. Guy over there. What the hell? All right, got him. Got him. Die. Die. Please. Bullet in your ass. There we go. That's the way to kill them bastards, guys. I'm going inside. There he is. That was a terrible idea. Alright, at least we get to see smoke effects, right? It's dropping down into like the 50s sometimes, but you know what? This is a playable experience in PUBG. It can be quite enjoyable. I enjoyed this little time here while I was alive and getting 1 kill. Yes. Next is Red Dead Redemption 2. We're playing this one at 720p resolution using ultra textures and everything else set to the lowest. And it seems like it's going to be a playable experience with around 40 frames per second, but this is not the most intensive area, guys. Why? Roach was disappearing, right? Like, I was looking at the FPS, but I'm pretty sure he did disappear for a second. Okay, I think I heard Jack. Yes, yes. Jack is here in Red Dead Redemption 2! Finally! Hello, Jack, where are you? There he is! There he is! Hello, buddy! How's it going? No. Roach, don't leave me alone with Jack here, please! Oh my god. Well, he loves us so much that he just hugs us like that, and he doesn't really want to kill us, guys. It's how it is. Ah, finally, we're in Strawberry. Things are still blinking for some reason, like that chariot over there just disappeared for a second, just like Roach at the beginning. And over in this area, which is very intense, Roach, please. Oh my god, what the hell? This area is one of the most intensive areas in the entire game, and it's dropping into the lower 30s. Roach, please, just move yourself. Come on. There we go. Yeah, 30 FPS flat right there, a little bit of stuttering. Not too bad though. 29, 28. Well, that's bad. But I mean, it is a playable experience for what it is, right? It's old integrated graphics basically, although you'll probably want an upgrade if you're playing this game like this, because it's a beautiful game at like high settings, 1080p resolution. It's really gorgeous, and it has an awesome story as well. So you should enjoy the visuals, right, and not play like this, but it is playable. Now it's Call of Duty Warzone Season 4, and where's my character? Oh, there we go. So we're playing at 720p resolution using the lowest settings, 100% resolution scale. This game supports FSR 3, and I will try it out, but I think it's gonna be crappy. Oh boy, look at that frame time graph, guys, and the movement of the plane as well. It kind of seems like we're lagging here, but it's not the internet or anything, and I have preloaded the shaders as well, or compiled them. And I remember playing this game with Vega 8 previously, although with the Ryzen 7 5700G instead, and it was pretty playable, but it was back in Warzone 2, and now things have become more intensive, I guess, as you can clearly tell. This is unplayable, basically. I'm gonna stop it there, guys. The stuttering is so unreal. Let's use FSR 3 over here. I'm gonna apply that, and it sets itself to balanced right away, so I'm gonna run with that. This has no frame generation yet. It seems like it improved our FPS by like 10 or so, maybe a little bit less than that, and yeah, it's still very rough. Super stuttery of an experience here. This is, yeah, so terrible. I would not recommend anybody to play like this, actually. It's headache-inducing almost. Let's enable frame generation. Oh boy, what happened? Oh, there we go. Frame generation is enabled now. And all right. Ugh. No, never mind. It looked like the frame time was a little bit more stable, more flat for a second there, and if I stand still, that is the case, but as soon as we start moving, that lag, perceived lag, actually comes back, and it's just terrible. It's not stable at all. Maybe if we look at that, how choppy that is. Holy crap. I'm gonna try to lock the FPS to like 60 here, and nope, that's still super stuttery. Look at that. There's nothing you can do to make this playable, unfortunately. And if those stutters weren't enough, guys, now we have Stutter Night. Look at that. Oh, it's marvelous, isn't it? I mean, if you really enjoy stuttering, this could be a next level experience for you. I don't know. Let's go over the settings right now. I'm playing at 720p using performance mode, 100% resolution scale and medium settings over here. And if it actually stops stuttering, we could be in for a good experience, right? Like it's getting 100 plus on average right now. Oh boy, what am I doing? Oh my god, look at that, all of that stuttering loading this thing. Jesus, it is so terrible. Okay, well, that's just the game itself, of course. It usually stutters a lot. That's why it's called Stutter Night, right? At least we can still get a couple of kills. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Another one down. Good stuff. And of course, the more you play, the less it will stutter. Still, I don't know how Epic makes both Fortnite and the Unreal Engine, and they can't figure out a way to stop the stuttering mess that this is. Look at this. We're just walking around. I can't say a word without it stuttering. Oh yeah, and there's something that you can do to minimize the stuttering, and I have done it. It's download the streaming assets from the game's launch options. Yeah, I have done that. It only seems to work in the X12 anyway, so there's that, guys. So that's it for this stuttery mess of a game. The specs themselves are quite decent. They're capable of achieving high refresh rate experience with 115 FPS on average, you know, it's all right. The problem is the game is just broken. Next is a very well optimized game, Overwatch 2, and we're playing this one at 720p using 100% resolution scale, max frame rate set to 600. It's not gonna reach that. and I'm using the low settings preset with high textures. Oh no, this is probably my second time playing this character right now. Wait, there we go. Come on. No, where did she go? There he is. Oh my god, seriously? Okay. I guess we're just gonna try to get this bastard right. Nope, it's not gonna happen. He's very, very tough and fat. Come on. Come over here. I want to throw the knife again. Well, give me soldier, please. What is this one, guys? I haven't played this game in so long that I don't know what I'm playing with at the moment, and previously as well. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm a healer. Okay. Well, that's terrible. I was pushing them. Oh my god. Come on. All right, there we go. We got one. Ah, they got us, guys. But you know what? At least the performance is not terrible. I could enjoy Overwatch 2 here on the Vega 8 integrated graphics if I wasn't dying left and right. But if you guys are playing this game, you're probably gonna be better than I am. Oh my god. Oh, I'm alone here. Yep, okay. I'm sorry. Buddy. Go, get over here. Get over. It's fine. I got you. Nope. We lost. Well, that's it. 97 FPS average is quite good. Let's try something more recent. Horizon Forbidden West at 720p. Yes, that's a huge cursor once again. FSR 3 set to quality, so it's not native 720p, but FSR 3.1 in this game actually looks decent, and we're using the lowest settings. Oh, no. Okay. So I'm not even bothering with the Burning Shores DLC because you're likely not going to get there, honestly, if you're on a Vega 8, right? Like, it is pretty rough right here. This is not even one of the most intensive areas, and it's dropping down to like 20 frames per second. Now, we do have some FSR frame generation here as well, which works quite well with higher-end systems. So let's turn it on and check it out then. So now we're getting 30 plus FPS consistently, which is nice. It looks smooth at the very least, but there is a ton of input lag because of the native FPS that we were getting previously. Like, they were really low at around 20 FPS, and although this is actually a better experience, honestly speaking, I would still not play like this because of the added input lag. It will ruin your experience, basically, okay? There is no way Ghost of Tsushima is actually playable. Holy crap! So this is even more recent than Horizon Forbidden West, I mean on PC at least, and we're playing at 720p resolution using FSR 3 on quality and the very low settings over here, okay? So it's not native 720p, but it can actually get 40 frames per second, and FSR 3 in this particular game actually does look really impressive, okay? It's the best implementation of FSR 3.1 that I have found so far. I'm gonna start counting our FPS. We're going to the most intensive area right now, and with a baseline of like 30 to 40 FPS, with frame generation, it might actually achieve 60, guys. Although the input lag will still be atrocious like that, but yeah, we gotta try that out. Alright, this is the Golden Temple area, the most intensive area in the entire game, and here it does dip from 30 FPS sometimes, but I mean, it's not terrible still, right? It's only dropping into like the high 20s, 29 specifically. So I could live with that. 28 right there. It's a little bit more intensive in this direction apparently. Yeah. Okay. I would still not buy this game for full price to play like this, of course, but if you really want to play this on Vega 8, it will work. Okay, let's try it with frame generation on top of FSR quality, and look at that. Okay, well, you know what? The input lag is still bad, like it was in Horizon Forbidden West, but I think with a controller, you might be fine, and you might be able to enjoy this. Okay. Especially after seeing Horizon Forbidden West being so broken here. Like, it was a terrible experience. This is decent. This is playable compared to that. I played my fair share of games back in like 2012, 2013 with very low-end specs, 20 to 30 FPS most of the time, and very low graphics like 640 by 480, for example. I remember playing Bad Company 2 like that with 25 FPS and still enjoying it. So this would be very enjoyable for like 12-year-old me. Now, if you're fancying a first-person shooter with good graphics that's worth playing, we're here in Battlefield 1 at 720p using the low settings. And guys, look at the graphics. First of all, they're super clean, right? Nothing like TAAs being utilized, crappy anti-aliasings or upscalers or whatever. This is full-on native 720p, which is not really impressive, but it doesn't look absolutely awful. And this is a game that can be played very well with like 40 frames per second, I would say, because the input lag is basically non-existent in my opinion. I at least can enjoy it very much with around 40 frames per second, and the fact that we're getting around 60 on average is amazing. Also, the 1% lows are low at 38 frames per second at the moment, just because of me dying so much. Whenever you die, there's a little bit of a stutter because it zooms out to the entire map and so on. Let me reload the flare. Okay, dropping down into the 50s sometimes. Not too bad though. Oh, there's a fire grenade over here. Okay, all good. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're conquering B and probably losing A, because that's how it works in Battlefield. And you know what? Back when this game came out, it was one of the prettiest games, if not the prettiest game ever in 2016, and it still holds up. So it's very impressive to see a 25-watt APU being able to play it with 60 FPS on average, right? It's awesome. At 720p lowest settings, yeah, but it still looks decent, and you can spot people absolutely fine like this. So why not play like this? I mean, I would. And if you had told me back then, especially as this game was launching, that it would be playable eventually on a 25-watt APU, I'd say you're absolutely crazy. This is the most beautiful game that I've seen. How will it be able to run on such a low-end APU? But yet, here we are, guys. And it finally is conclusion time. As usual, I'll still have 3 more games running right here, which ran pretty well, actually. Like, Forza Horizon 5 was really smooth, surprisingly so, because the last time that I tested Vega 8, it was a stuttery mess, so I'm glad they fixed it, or maybe it's just this little system that's better than the previous one that I tested. But yeah, I gotta say that overall, this is a pretty nice package for the price, especially if you can find it at those $246 with the discount. It goes to like $220. It's crazy, right? I mean, it's obvious that this isn't really a gaming PC these days, and it struggles in a lot of AAA titles, especially the newer games and so on. They are very intensive to run, and on a Vega 8 integrated graphics, which is similar to a GT 1030, obviously it's not going to provide a good experience. But if you just play indie titles or less demanding ones, it will actually run pretty well on a system like this. And I guess if you're looking for a cheap mini PC that can play the casual game here and there at low settings and low resolutions, but it will play them smoothly, this isn't too bad, okay? Again, for the Windows tasks, office work, watching movies, watching YouTube videos at 4K resolution, it will work absolutely fine. And another little surprise, by the way, is that they say that the HDMI port is only capable of 60 Hz, but it's actually capable of 120 Hz. At least in my monitor, it recognized 120 Hz. So yeah, basically for under $250, this is a decent deal. Anything higher than that, I wouldn't really buy it. And if you just want to play games in your computer, you should probably buy used components, because you can actually put something together that's better than this. But hey, it's a neat little package, and if it actually is at those $220-ish, it's actually well worth it. And that's been it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, there's a link down in the description as well as in the pinned comment if you want to check this out. And I'll catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.